Greetings, how you doing? This is Adam Rafferty, funky fingerstyle guitarist from New York City, and I want to thank you for tuning in to today's lesson. This is going to be all about arpeggios, and it's entitled Easy Arpeggio Magic, or something like that. And the reason I've given it that title is because you're going to be able to play all 12 major and minor arpeggios easily by the end of this lesson. And it's really going to help your musicianship, and it's super cool. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you won't miss any future videos that I upload. They might be lessons, they might be song performances, who knows. And please head on over to Facebook and hit the like button because on my page, because being liked on Facebook warms my heart and I can sleep much easier at night. So I'm going to do a quick demonstration of the two arpeggios that we're going to do. Okay, one is going to be a major arpeggio, and if you're not sure what that means, don't worry. One's going to be major, one's going to be minor. Okay, and I'm going to explain why we're going to practice this. So here, let me just play it for you real quick. Okay, here we go. Again. Okay. Now, the next one is minor. And don't worry, we're going to go over all this. Okay, ready? Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Okay. Now let's get into the meaning of life. Why are we practicing this? Why am I bothering showing it to you? All that kind of stuff. I'm going to grab my cheat sheet. Okay. Now that was by the way, a G major arpeggio and a G minor arpeggio. So the first question: what is an arpeggio? You know, if you're a guitar player, you might not be totally clear on what just a straight-up arpeggio is in terms of the way other musicians, such as pianists and composers and violinists and horn players, think of arpeggios. So we're not going to be doing Frank Gambale sweep picking. We're not going to be doing Eddie Van Halen two-handed tapping metal. And we're not going to be doing blindingly fast things with the right hand that we can only do on a single chord, because those are not things that are really going to expand our musicianship. Those are just show-off things, in my opinion. Okay, so arpeggios, what are they? Let's use a G triad for this example, okay? Now, as guitarists, very often we think of G chords like good old open cowboy chord, or bar chords, or I don't know what we think of. But the notes of a G triad are G, B, and D. Okay? G, B, D. And so when we're playing these chords, for example, it's a lot of doublings. Like there's 3 G's in there, there's 2 B's, and there's a D. So we're doubling up on those notes, but there's only 3 available notes in a G major chord. Okay, so an arpeggio is sort of like we're going up those notes as if they are a melody. Okay? So instead of hitting all these notes at once, we're going G, B, D. That's what it means to arpeggiate up the triad. Okay, I got to look at my notes again. Make sure I'm not leaving anything out. Good examples of this as a melody. Think of it as melody. Think of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, right? Have yourself a, right? Or Star Spangled Banner. Ba, 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 ba. Right? That's a melody that just goes up and down the chord tones. That's an arpeggiated chord. Those happen to be C chords the way I just sang them. Okay, so now let's say this is all about your musicianship and getting to be not only a better guitar player, but a better musician. And if you want to do things like improvise or compose or like know where you are on the neck, this is like the really good stuff. Think of me as your trainer or your coach, okay? Now, guitarists tend to do a lot of things like learn a piece and get to play it as fast as they can, or a lick as fast as they can. But if you say, what are the notes in an A flat major triad? And if I ask you that right now, if you can't answer that question, that means this lesson is for you. Okay? You got to know it's A flat, C, and E flat. You got to know that like your multiplication tables. And from this stuff, which is good for your hands and good for your technique, you're going to also learn music. Okay? It's not just like muscling out and doing something blindingly fast, which only guitar players care about, okay? So now let's do a little backup for a minute. I went to music college, okay? But this stuff is not advanced stuff. Check this out. Every music student had to take a basic piano course, okay? We had to take basic piano. And first thing out of the gates, it was like, to pass basic piano, I had to be able to do all 12 major and minor scales, 24 in all, let's say, and all 12 major arpeggios and minor arpeggios on the piano. So think about that for a sec. You know, music education, they hit you with that coming out of the gates on other instruments. It's only on guitar that we take these weird, we avoid these things in favor of other things. Okay, so let's get down to the playing. Now, on the piano, I'm going to get down to the playing, I promise, and you're going to be playing too. On the piano, one of the things I noticed that was really interesting was you'd use a fingering, let's say your right hand, to play the notes G, B, D, like thumb for thumb, index, middle, right? And then when you went up to the next octave, you do the exact same thing, and then the exact same thing. So it was a fingering that repeated all up the same way every time you went up an octave. And I thought to myself, why couldn't we do that on the guitar? So that was a revelation to me to get this organized very quick. So now we're going to play. So pick up your guitar, and let's locate with our second finger the G's. So we're going to do 3rd fret, 6th string, right? And then we're going to do 5th fret, 4th string, and then we're going to go 8th fret, 2nd string. So those are the G's. And you're grabbing those with your second finger, okay? Now what we're going to do, or you're going to do, we're going to play that note first, and then watch this. 1st finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, and then 4th finger, 5th string, 5th fret. So, okay. Then go up to that next G, starting on the 5th fret, 4th string. Same thing. Okay. So we're doing it just the way a piano player would do it. Same fingers, always going up an octave. Now go up to the 8th fret. You're actually doing the 8th fret with your second finger. And then, okay. One more time. Okay. Now, let's go up like a walking bass line tempo, so that that switch between the fourth finger and the second finger is a little less audible. We won't pause there. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. And particularly on these top strings, however you're playing with your right hand, however you choose to do this, you could be doing this with a pick, you can do it on electric guitar, you can do it all with your thumb, fingers. Just make sure that you're getting a nice tone. On steel strings, it's easy to get a good sounding tone on the lower strings, but a little bit trickier on the high strings. Okay? Let's do that one more time going up, like a walking bass line. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay? Now coming down is a little bit trickier because we're going to be starting each pattern with our pinky. Okay? So for the major arpeggio. And by the way, something really important that I forgot to mention, the notes you're playing, this is the reason for practicing this. You're going G, G, B, D. Excuse me, G, B, D. And then it's the same thing going on up. G, B, D, G, B, D. Okay, sorry for the screeching singing there. So G, B, D, G, B, D, G, B, D. Okay. Now, just to get a little bit technical on you, if we were to play just the first 5 notes of a major scale, the notes that we're playing are the first, or the root, the third, and the fifth. So you've probably heard something maybe theoretically about roots, thirds, and fifths. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're just taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we're going up 3 octaves. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. Okay. Now let's look at coming back down. It's the same thing, but you're going to have to train your brain a little bit. Starting on the pinky, 10th fret. Okay. We're in 7th position there. That might help you. I wasn't saying the positions before. Now we're going to go down to 4th position, pinky in the 7th fret, 4th string. And then we're going to go to 2nd position. You're going to start on the 5th string. Okay. So now if we come down like it's a bass line, it'll sound like this. 1, 2, ready, and. I could have played that better. Here we go. Okay, so those shifts where we change the position to the left hand, we want to hold the notes as long as possible. We want to avoid squeaks. We want it to sound as seamless as we can. So practice this really slow. Okay, now let's go up and come back down with the smooth shifts. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go a little bit slower. So if you want to try to do this with me, it might be a little soon, but you can go ahead and give it a try. Okay, 1, 2, ready, and. That's your G major arpeggio. Okay. So let's do minor. Now, really only one note is going to change. So bum 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 bum. The minor scale would sound like this. Okay, so we're changing this B over here that we're getting with the first finger. We're changing it to the 6th fret, 6th string. It's a B flat now. Okay. I get up, I can't get down. You're going to start recognizing melodies. That was Abracadabra, Steve Miller Band. But this is just going to be like a vitamin pill for you to know all your arpeggios. Trust me. Okay. So there's different ways to finger this. We could have stretched the first finger back, but I'm trying to get it all within a 4-fret grab so we're not stretching our left hand out too much. Same concept. We're going to play G, B flat, D. And for minor, this is still root, 3rd, 5th. Then we're going to go up an octave. Starting on that G, I went a little bit fast there. 4th string, 5th fret. Same shape. Then that was starting at the 8th fret. Now this one, coming back down, is going to take you some practice because we're actually having to start on the 3rd finger on those Ds. Okay? So you're in 8th position. So 10th fret, 11th fret, 8th fret. Then we're going to come down to 5th position, 7th fret, 8th fret, 5th fret. And then we're going to come down 3rd position. So each time I'm starting the ba, that's a D. I'm starting that with the 3rd finger. Sorry. And then that's the first note of each one of those shapes. Okay. So now let's go back to that example where I was getting all worked up before. If I say, what's in an A flat major arpeggio? Like how would you even know and how would you even play it? Well, let's think. Where's A flat? On the 6th string. We're going to do all these coming off the 6th string. Well, you tune your A string over here at the 5th fret. So 1 fret down. That's A flat. You just do your shape. Hey, what notes are those? A flat, C, E flat. There's a whole reason that's called E flat and not D sharp, which I'm not going to go into here. Just trust me on that. And then you just got your bingo. You know where all your A flats, your C's, and your E flats are. And you practiced the move so you can do it. Now, A flat minor. What are the notes? Technically speaking, A flat, C flat. I know, it sounds crazy, but it really is C flat. Trust me. E flat, A flat, C flat, E flat. You would not call that B. That would not be theoretically correct. Just trust me on that. Okay? So now we're going to do that up in octaves. And I'm going to do it a little bit fast, so don't worry if you can't do it with me. Okay? So there's, of course, many more variations and a million ways you could turn this on its head, but that's not the point. The point is to send you away from this video with the tools you need to play any major or minor arpeggio. And I suggest a thing that you can do is just when you practice, do like 3 of them. Say, just pull a note out of a hat. Say, if I wanted to do F sharp, what would that be for major and minor? Okay. If I wanted to do D flat, what would that be? And just dive in and look for it. Okay. Another nice way you can practice this is just by doing the major one and the minor one right after, one after the other. So let's go back to G. You might do knock both of them out on any given note. That was the G major and the G minor. Alrighty, well, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. fact, look underneath this video. If there's a download link, you're going to see it. Just go grab the download. It's free. And by the way, if you're feeling like you're digging these lessons, if you enjoy that, I want to let you know I have my own online academy called Study with Adam, where I do in-depth teaching of my solo arrangements, where I also teach theory stuff. And the coolest thing of all is that you can upload videos to me and I will coach you and give you feedback. So go check that out. And if you have any questions, just message me or email me. And if you have any questions or beautiful comments, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I read all of them personally. So God bless. Have fun doing your arpeggios, and I'll see you for the next lesson.